So Confessions of a Child Bride is on Hulu, and it didn't stun me because I remember them as a couple, right? I remember Courtney Staldon and Dutch Hutcherson as a couple. I remember seeing them, and I just thought to myself, I was 19 years old. I remember seeing them on a reality show, and I was like, this man is old enough to be her dad. He's old. I didn't know she was 16 though. There are going to be spoilers ahead. Like, if you want to watch it and come back, the video will still be here. Now, number one, talking about her parents. For her parents to give consent, even though her dad lied and say that he did not give consent, it was crazy to me. Specifically her dad, because he goes, oh no, I didn't give consent. I didn't even know none of this was going on. Meanwhile, he walked her down the aisle. Excuse me? Courtney revealed that, maybe, I don't know, accidentally or just telling her story on the popular podcast Call Her Daddy. Now, her mama, I'm not going to take it there because she still love her mama. She said it in the documentary. But I feel like her mom was looking for a money grab because she works all those hours. And she was basically like a single parent. I don't really know where her dad was all that time. And eventually, in the future, we're going to cover this. She ended up resenting her daughter and wanting to be her. But as somebody that is a mother to a 16-year-old that always has to remind her to sometimes even pick up her socks and drink water, I think it's crazy to think that this young lady was somebody's wife. And then somebody old like that, like, no shade, like, okay, it's a blessing to be old, but like, if it was like, okay, she's 16 or like even 17 or 18, even though I don't even really agree with kids getting, married so young because they didn't really get to live their lives. But even if they were closer in age, I would be like, okay, this man is 50 years old. Again, he could be her uncle or her dad, And you know how irresponsible teenagers are. If you're a teacher, you're an auntie, you're an uncle, you got little cousins, you got little siblings. If you got a kid of your own, there's no way this girl should have been anyone's wife. He absolutely was taking advantage of her. And I'm so glad in the documentary she was using that language and that was very honest. It was healing to hear it because it was truthful that he was a groomer, that it was easy to manipulate her because, Courtney's parents were from a small town. Courtney is from a small town. She's also was in the church. No shade, all tea, because I know y'all want to come at me every single time. But some people, not all, okay? But in some old school churches and some religious practices in general, some or people with certain traditions, and in some people's communities, they deem this normal, and it's not. I'm so sorry, okay? All shade, all tea. It's not. Having these huge age gaps, especially with people that haven't even developed their frontal lobe yet, is sick. And y'all know it, okay? Let's call it what it is. It's pedophilia, okay? But moving on back to the documentary, I feel Courtney was an easy target because she was not protected. And she also was bullied, which caused her self-esteem to be extremely low. We will touch on that again. She also was extremely isolated. And now her parental figures, I guess, just wasn't in the picture. I don't know where her dad was, but I remember Courtney saying that her mom definitely worked a lot. Also, educational wise, I'm glad we are shifting as a culture because the fact that the media and the tabloids back in the 90s and the 2000s, mid 2000s, I should say, blamed her like she wasn't a victim actually made me extremely sad. You know what I'm saying? And I see them trying to shift it back, but we will never go back. Okay, so let's fast forward. So after 6 months of getting to know each other, because initially he, was supposed to help her get opportunities in Hollywood, even though he was only in a couple of things himself. Okay, they met in person. They couldn't go get a drink because she was only 16. I guess they went out to eat. He finally met her in person and then asked for her hand in marriage, which is crazy, while providing a $12 dress, and then they got married. Mind you, okay, her mom didn't just make Doug her husband. She made him her legal guardian. And that hurt my feelings because how as a mom could you do that? Something else I wanted to mention is they got married in Nevada. And in the documentary, it says 37 states in the United States, with your parents' consent, you can marry under 18. And I feel like a lot of people say a lot of things about the LGBTQ community and all these other communities, but you don't understand that a lot of these lawmakers are perverts, because how is that even okay to do? You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't even be legal, but I digress. We're going to move on. So this part made me tear up as a mom. I still feel like it still made me want to tear up because, again, you can relate to it so much. Well, I know I can relate to it. And if you have like teenagers and young kids in your family, you can relate to it. She said there was a part where she was talking about she was wearing chicken cutlets to look more full grown, right? For her chi-chis. And she was worried about having relations with him. But eventually she got nude And because, they were having relations, he loved her kid body. That's what she was worried about. She was insecure about her kid body. Meanwhile, he enjoyed her kid body. He is a predator. He wrote it in his novel. What you say, Maya? Disgusting! Oh, exactly. In the documentary, Doug and Courtney's interview was also featured. And as we continue to now watch as millennials, younger Gen X, millennials, and older Gen Z, we can look back and automatically know the linguistics that groomers use. So if you have the documentary and you see the interview, or even back then, if you experienced it, we seen that Courtney, would constantly feel the need that she had to defend her relationship by stating things like, "I'm an old soul." Now, I'm not saying that at a young age you can't feel wise, but not wise enough to date a 50-year-old man that could be your father that has been here longer than you. I'm just keeping it real. But again, I know that's just him grooming her. I know that. I don't blame her at all. Even during the past interview, you can see Courtney hanging on to his every word because you're young and you're in love and you're impressionable. She's listening to his rhetoric, but sometimes conscientiously when you're younger and your frontal lobe hasn't developed yet, which hers hasn't developed because she was only 16 years old, you obviously don't know any better and you will take the older person's word. And I definitely understand where people are coming from. Yes, she had paparazzi and fame, but at what cost? You know what I'm saying? That psychological damage does not leave. She also was getting bullied by Chrissy Teigen, which was not shocking. Like, no shade. I actually did a TikTok about Chrissy Teigen a long time ago, but I didn't really post it. Teigen has always said things and apologized, but she apologized stating that she was the queen of Twitter and she was going through a state of alcoholism herself. And I remember that she said she was just projecting, but she's bullied many people, even the young actor that was the black actress that played Annie, and then in turn a newspaper, I think it was called like The Olive, also doubled down and bullied her as well as the one from American Pie. I believe his name is Jason Briggs. And I feel like the only reason why Chrissy apologized was because she said that at that point in her life, Courtney said she wanted to unalive herself because she was just getting attacked by newspapers and all, like, people online. It just wasn't for her, and I guess she wanted to unalive herself, but she's still here. By this time, Doug has lost all his endorsements for being a creepy man because people realize it. And then he forced her to do these reality shows, right? Or go on to these daytime television shows. And with these daytime television shows, they did nothing but embarrass her, such as Dr. Drew. She was exploited by a lot of the people on there, touching her bosoms and saying that she had implants, which she didn't. They went on marriage boot camp because they didn't have no money. So Courtney was able to also do the reality show Big Brother, where she's able to get away from Doug, right? Because for a long time, she was just thinking like, I want to get away from him. I guess it just wasn't working out. I think that's a groomer's biggest nightmare because, especially someone that does financial abuse, not in his case because he didn't have no money, but someone that does financial abuse or someone that is grooming someone, their worst fear is the actual victim getting away from them because they're not able to feed their ideas. The groomer is not able to feed the victim any ideas. They're able to speak to outside sources, which is excellent. And in this case, hers was Screech, aka Dustin, from Saved by the Bell. And as soon as she got back from the States, because I'm paraphrasing, y'all, it's long, she asked for a divorce. However, it was on and off because she ended up getting sexually assaulted, which is bad because, she never probably maneuvered in life without him. Now, this part is going to be sincerely short. So I do feel like Courtney defends her mom a lot. Her mom's name is Crystal Keller. Now, they never say in a documentary if her mom, Crystal, and Doug, her ex-husband or whatever, messed around. However, I feel like they definitely did insinuate it in a way. So because of Doug's manipulation, I do feel like he definitely came onto the mother, Crystal. And because of the mother, Crystal's wanting to be her daughter and lack of self-esteem as well, you know what I'm saying? She's probably like, oh my God, a celebrity want me, da-da-da-da. Because of her actions of selling her daughter at an early age, I do feel like she accepted the offer of flirting and then smecks in some type of way, because there was an incident that was actually on TV where he complimented Courtney's mother and she was able to throw that back in her daughter's face like, oh, I'm his real fantasy, just know that, basically. But she ain't say it like that. And that's on reality TV. But Courtney forgives her, because her mom has apologized a plethora of times. And I'll leave it at that. But anyway, they finally got divorced in 2020, thank God. Okay. And Courtney is trying to start a nonprofit for victims. And she married again to another Hollywood producer, period. Keep that bag going. And she got some dogs. However, she's still healing her inner child before she wants to become a mom one day. If you haven't watched this, I say it's good. I missed out a couple of things, and you can see more pictures and stuff like that. But it was a great documentary. It did shake me to my core, and I hope you enjoyed this. Okay, bye.